I saw these 3 broken Game Boys on eBay, and I had to try the ultimate test. I had to try to repair 3 Game Boys in the same video. Crazy, never been done before. You're welcome. Let's see what we learn. I've tested all these. The main feature of this guy is this beautiful battery cover that we get. Sometimes this one, there's hair. Sometimes this one reads a game, sometimes it doesn't. It might read a game right now, but I've had this in my possession for a couple weeks, and it just kind of varies on if it's gonna do the thing or not. So let's see if he does it right now. He doesn't even power on right now. Did I put a battery in wrong? I did not put a battery in wrong. So yeah, he's just got some weird issues. That's the first time he hasn't powered on, so that's fun. We'll just we'll just set that aside. This guy, also this is how this was shipped to me. All these, this is how they've been shipped. So they did that. Very sweet of them to make sure that I got the lens. No power. Which the corrosion that's currently in there actually doesn't look that bad. That's the side where there appears to be corrosion. And you can see corrosion all in the battery compartment, but there's not really any on the terminals. I'm sure it's just a terminal issue though. And then for our Game Boy Color, no battery compartment. He does power on, and he does play a game, but he has no sound whatsoever. It's also really dusty in there. I'm hoping it's just the speaker and it's not the headphone jack that's a problem. I don't have a replacement headphone jack. Let's start with this red Game Boy. We don't need that anymore. So kind of them. Goodbye. I am surprised that I wasn't getting power that time. I don't see a corrosion issue. Let me try again without the battery cover on at all. Because maybe I had some hair touching something. And now we get power. And then if I put the game in, is he gonna work for you guys? Yes, he is. It's also really dirty in there. So maybe the sometimes getting power, sometimes playing a game, maybe it just has to do with some of the hair that was on that tape occasionally blocking contact here. Little bit of corrosion on this screw. A little bit of hair too. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, there's just like a lot of pet hair on all this. Or, you know, I can tell myself it's carpet hair. Make myself feel a little bit better. Not like I have a shortage of pet hair in my house. We have 2 cats and 2 dogs. Man, there's a lot of hair in here. There's quite a bit over here too. I also do see some liquid. Nope, I see flux. I see a sloppy amount of flux. This is a CPU 07, so this is one of the later revisions. Which, I mean, you can just tell because it's Play It Loud that it's a later revision. I want to really closely inspect my power board and these terminals and see if that tells me what's going on with sometimes getting power and sometimes not. Also, maybe get a good look at that cartridge reader. Easy for me to say, hard for you to watch. Oh man, there's a lot of hair here. Okay. So, yeah, these battery terminals look really good. So what I'm looking for is if I see any residue on the power board indicating that my capacitors have gone bad. I don't see anything like that. And all of my solder connections look good. It just looks like it's generally dirty in here. And then my cartridge reader looks remarkably clean. On the inside, I mean, there's hair, but there's no like corrosion or anything, which is what I was looking for. So this guy might just need a deep clean, and then he might just work. I might just occasionally be getting a short somewhere from the hair inside. The power switch looks really dirty. That could be causing me intermittent issues. I don't see any capacitors that look troublesome. My speaker is stuck in there from all the gunk. Our speaker definitely needs a clean. And then this side, we're just kind of generally dirty. But yeah, there's tons of flux, like right here, over here, some up here. We definitely have a case of finger cheese and a bug. I don't get bugs inside of handhelds very often. Yeah, these are, that one's really clean. That one's good. Yeah, we got some gunk. I'm gonna start by kicking my desk. I'm gonna blow some of this off. We're gonna start with a toothbrush. We've got a lot of corrosion here on the aux. Well, now that I see it that close, I guess it's not a lot. Now let's grab a cotton swab. Let's start on this side. Why is this clip so cursed? It's not how it's supposed to sit. I'm pretty sure that my fault was on the other board, but any hair in here at all can move and still cause issues. Let's clean these up with isopropyl alcohol first, just trying to brush away any debris. Realized I never explained this, but I've just taken the battery terminals as well as the corroded screws and just let them soak in vinegar for a little bit, and now I'm just brushing them off. I also give them another isopropyl alcohol bath after this, just to make sure that I don't leave any residue from the vinegar. But this is just to ensure that if there was any corrosion, it's now cleaned away and everything should function just fine. Now we're ready to start our bath. For all of these, I just used really hot water and dish soap to get all the grease and dirt off of them. While I was cleaning this one, it was actually a little bit harder to get some of the gunk out, so I had to use a spudger to kind of pick a lot of it out. It also became clear once I had cleaned it that there was a little bit of damage to the shell. Nothing that impacted it structurally, just cosmetically on the outside. But it cleaned up well enough. Good enough for Congress. Moment of truth. I have no idea how to play this game. It's cool. This one works. Let's move on to the Game Boy Pocket. So this one had no power. We don't need that anymore. So I'm imagining we're just looking at battery terminals. So these guys are gonna get a vinegar bath. This one's got quite a bit of hair going on too. I've never encountered an issue like there's like fluff in here. You can really see just how much gunk is in here up here. Yeah, so I've never encountered an issue like that before. It would be really strange if I came across two in the same day. Did I get these as a lot? I don't remember. They've been sitting in my office for a while. Let's take a look at this battery contact. There's some. It's really not bad. I did notice a lot of dust in there. Now, I do not know Game Boy Pockets very well, so we are hoping for a fault that I can identify by a visual inspection. Because I don't know if there's like particular capacitors that like to go bad on here or anything like that. Maybe this switch is faulty. Yeah, this is a horrendous amount of dust. Could just be that the dust is causing shorts. This one has even more dust than the last one. So we've got a little bit of screen cancer around the edges. That's fine. It's out of the viewing area, I'm okay with it. It's like somebody bought the thing, forgot all about it, and just left it on top of a cabinet or a fridge or something. They left it up somewhere high to collect a bunch of dust. Okay, well, same thing as last time. Let's clean up the board. It'll be really strange if I have two problems that are the same back to back on two different generations. I've never encountered it before. I'm really gonna focus on the power switch up here. It doesn't feel great. I don't know how to describe it to you, but it just does not feel correct. Hope the speaker works, because I don't think I have any replacements for the Game Boy Pocket. If this doesn't work when we go to test it, I'll probably start with the power switch, because my solder connections on my battery terminals look fine. I do not see a bunch of corrosion on the battery terminals themselves. Man, there is so much dust on the inside of this speaker. I think we're ready to go ahead and do our bath. Before I do that though, let's clean up this vinegar. I actually had to be really gentle with this one because for some reason the silver that Nintendo did on these early devices was just painted on the plastic, so it actually comes off really easy. That meant that even once it was cleaned, it still kind of looked like crap because the paint had been worn in some areas. But to make sure that I didn't do any more damage, I used a cotton swab for most of the cleaning, and thankfully it really wasn't all that dirty, so it cleaned up pretty okay. I'm stupid and didn't think to even dust this off before doing all this. I really enjoy working on the Game Boy Pocket compared to the original Game Boy. It's a lot quicker to assemble and disassemble. It's made in a very clever way. They're gonna make me write to my congressman about how annoying it is to remove these. Does it do anything? All right, we get power. There we go. I don't know how to play this game, but I do know we're 2 for 2. I don't understand the odds of that, like having 2 Game Boys, the problem I've never encountered before, the same day, like that's really uncommon. There is a common problem where the inside of the audio jack can get corroded, and if that happens, it will not have audio. Now, it could be an issue with the speaker itself, which is what we're hoping for, because I have replacement speakers, but I don't have replacement audio jacks. This one's also very dusty. I didn't get these all from the same person, did I? It's my first time working on a Game Boy Color, so I'm not sure what to expect. This thing's just really dusty. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. This has a lot of rust on it. Man, everything in here is super dusty. So the first thing I want to inspect is I want to see if I'm getting good contact on the wires for the speaker. And I am. The inside of the speaker does look like there's a little bit of rust. So there could have been liquid damage to the speaker itself. The way they made this housing, you don't end up with a bunch of gunk on the tape. That's really nice. I do not expect to get this on my first try like the other 2. It could be the volume adjustment wheel, the speaker, the aux port, and then potentially this capacitor. This capacitor looks like it has traces that run over here. Wipe away the evidence. Now that I rubbed the serial number off, if I can't fix it, I can replace it with a different board and you guys will never know. I'm joking. Let me see what resistance the speaker is supposed to read at. Okay, I should get a reading of 8 ohms on the speaker. We get 7 ohms. I'm getting 7 ohms here. I'm supposed to get 8 ohms. It still looks like the voice coil is attached to the diaphragm. I can show you guys here. So the little coil that's inside there should move with this clear plastic. If it does, that means that the coil is still attached to the diaphragm. So I don't think the speaker's bad. I know 7 ohms is less than 8 ohms. Yes. Yeah, I think the speaker's fine. Because I'm getting 7 to 8 ohms on the speaker. It looks like the voice coil is attached to the diaphragm. So I think my attention needs to be on this component. How do I test if the aux is bad? Let me Google it. I think if it's bad, then I will not get resistance from one leg to another or something like that. I do not get continuity. I get 6.5 mega ohms. I get 30 mega ohms. Okay, so since I'm getting continuity on here, apparently it's working? I think I just need to spend some more time cleaning this then. No weird quirks while cleaning this one, just a lot of dust. I did check, and the Game Boy Color and the original Game Boy came from the same seller, but the Game Boy Pocket came from somebody else entirely. So just a happy coinkydink that those 2 had the same issues. But it does explain why the Game Boy Color was so dusty. Since first 2 were a free fix, I'm sure this one's gonna have to cost me some money. I think on these you're supposed to put this sticker right here, but I actually like seeing that little Game Boy logo, so I'm not gonna do that. There was sound. It was very quiet. Okay, so if I hold this up to my ear, we're currently at max volume, I can hear something. Maybe it is a case of a bad speaker. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I think what I'm gonna do is replace that capacitor first, because the speaker that I have is not OEM, so it's this little guy. It looks like that on the back. And it does fit in the shell, but I feel like it would also move around a bit. Maybe there's a way I can get it to sit in this housing, I don't know. What we're gonna do is replace this capacitor right here. This will be my first time soldering a surface mounted capacitor. And then I need to mount pretty far away from the capacitor to give myself some space to work. Is that switch safe right there? Yeah, but then where does this mount? I may not have the technology. Okay, since it's just a surface mounted capacitor, I can just solder like this. It seemed like I was pretty committed to making this difficult for myself, so I went ahead and I prefluxed and then just kept like rotating the board entirely, trying to get a good angle on each side of the capacitor. It wasn't going great. I probably could have used a larger tip to make sure that I was heating more of the surface area. It would have meant more of the solder actually flowed and would have gone quicker. And if it seemed bad removing it, it was so much worse putting on the new one. I have no idea why I didn't start off by pre-tinning the pads, but I didn't. So it took forever for me to turn my brain on, do that, and then just get it soldered into place. I think that should work. I think I have good contact, or good enough contact. I do wonder if maybe the solder is a bit too cold, because it looks like it's balled up a little bit, but I think it's fine. Okay. So it wasn't the capacitor. That's a bummer. Well, I'll try this other speaker. I'm a little worried about how it's just gonna sit in there. I may not like it. Unless that capacitor was bad too, which I don't think is the case. But I didn't test it before I put it on, so it could be. Well, I'm gonna place that down so I know the orientation that I want to solder in. Let's bring this back in, do the same thing again. I get the sense that these shouldn't be bridged, so I'm just gonna do a little something something right there. That should be good. Yeah, that's not real pretty, but I think it'll function. Now let's see if this will fit in there. And is there any way I can get this speaker housing to work with me or no? So this speaker is glued into its housing, so I would probably break something in the process. Owie, that's really hot. I think that's good. So I've got 3 separate videos I've filmed so far where I fixed it so quickly that the content's just kind of boring. Like it's maybe 10-minute videos. I've edited them, they exist, I could upload them. Would you guys watch them? I don't really want to just pump out content in the name of pumping out content, so if nobody would watch, you should be mean in the comments and tell me. But if that's the kind of thing you'd want to see where basically Deoxit solves all my problems, let me know in the comments. 3rd time's charm, right? Let's see what happens. Hey! Okay, I still don't know how to play that game. But we fixed not 1, not 2, but 3 generations of Game Boy today. I'd say that's pretty good. I am shocked that these 2 just needed to be cleaned. I would like absolutely use this as a reminder that number 1, clean your house. Number 2, if you don't know how to disassemble and clean your consoles, like you should learn. It's actually really easy. And I mean, in this case, like this is a couple $100s of working Game Boy right here, give or take, maybe like 150. Either way, I bought these for way less than that and they were just dirty. Like these were 2 free fixes. Learn to clean your consoles and you'll get free fixes all the time. This guy, on the other hand, cheap fix. I mean, I'm not good at soldering and I was able to get that done. That's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more content just like this, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.